A bit of a raw statistics is that actually a lot of the integrations and proof of concept of AI projects within a SaaS are not succeeding that much. So what I would like to see, and I think we're moving forward, is that during the day you're chatting with the AI agent. All of that information during the day is generated, and during the night the LLMs, the AI platforms, are processing that information, and on the next day it's now better and it's improved based on your specific cases.
Hello everyone, I'm Nico and this is my colleague Alex, and today we're gonna talk about AI and how AI actually is changing the SaaS industry. So before we deep dive into 2026, I wanna ask you actually for the bigger picture. What is currently happening in AI?
Yes, so what's currently happening, I will have to summarize as well what through 2025, what was the case is that a lot of the AI projects within the SaaS world were really proof of concepts, like a lot of experimental and a lot of experimenting was happening. A bit of a sort of raw statistics is that actually a lot of the integrations and proof of concept of AI projects within a SaaS are not succeeding that much. And I think 70% are actually not even moving to a production stage. However, that's shifting drastically with all the improvements of tools and just improving the models. So what we're seeing now is AI was first automating a lot of the administrative work within managing a SaaS platform. You can imagine all the boring things that you have to do in order to maintain a SaaS platform running, from handling invoices to doing some automations of handling requests, right, internally, to even project planning within building new SaaS features of your platform. So that's on the internal side, a lot of internal automations and workflows. Of course, we saw a lot of the boom of chatbots and actually intelligent chatbots, particularly a lot of SaaS companies that are a long time on the market and have very extensive documentation. They created these customized chatbots where you can ask very specific questions, and it uses all of the tools like rack systems and MCPs, etc., to provide you a clear guideline for your problem based on their documentation. Other things that we saw is using it for a lot of marketing purposes. So obviously writing content and even creating imaging, and really trying to integrate and automate processes within the SaaS for the users to have a better experience and more tailored experience on the platforms that they're having.
Let's deep dive more into how AI actually transforms fundamentally the SaaS industry, of how SaaS is built at the moment, but also how SaaS softwares are currently used with AI.
Well, to kick off with the building, of course, all of us have heard about the copilots and the agentic workflows. So that, in my opinion, is here to stay, because we definitely can see a productivity boost for everyone. Using of Cursor and other like GitHub Copilot, etc., etc. So there's a lot of tools where now the developer is working together with the agents to speed up the writing of the code, the debugging of issues, and just the whole development flow is definitely speed up. But one shift that is happening that we are seeing as well within the development is that in the past, and we have all been there, is that the code was a source of truth. And we were always trying to document what we have done in the code, right? And we have all seen like outdated documentation, and we have all talked about, you need to document. However, now with the introduction of these agents, which are sort of more text-based instructions that you have to give, we are moving towards specification-driven development, where the specifications of, let's say, describing the feature, a good example is like a user story that you need to describe the design. That becomes a source of truth, because that's the information that you pass to the coding agent or to the copilot, and that is generating the code. So if you want to change a feature or code, the code base, you are changing the specification first, and you feed that again to the AI to make the change instead of the opposite, first changing the code and then changing the specification. A good example that I can give is things where you have to use text input or image inputs. Previously, we were building these UIs that were just sort of helping us to guide us through a process of, like, let's say, filling in some information or having like some multi-step form to complete something. And now all of these multi-step processes can be summarized in somebody either typing, but actually in most of the cases recording a voice message of providing instructions of, I want you to do this, or I'm filling in this information, or I'm doing this action, and this is the information that I'm getting. And you just pass the message, and the AI agent gets that information, uses all of the existing information that you already have in your existing SaaS database, and it's providing the same result in even faster or sometimes even better than what was traditionally done through some user interface flow that you had to do before.
Well, what we also see this year, especially, is that a lot of companies invest in AI, of course, and many new AI features or tools or products are coming every day on the market. Yeah, what are the biggest mistakes you see SaaS companies make when they first try to integrate AI?
The most fundamental mistake that we have seen in our experience is about data. So, on the fundamental level, the most important thing that you need to think when you're thinking about building some agentic workflow or an AI system is, do I have the data in order to produce the results that I need? And what data do I need to generate in order to feed my AI in order to produce the outcome and the process that you need? So you should always ask yourself, and the mistake that is done is that we have this idea of what we want to automate and how we want to provide value with the AI and with the agents. And then when we start building it, we're starting to realize that we don't have the necessary data to provide the context and the information towards the agents in order to provide that value. So at the most important level is, do I have the data that I need in order to provide the value and to generate the result that I want?
Let's bring this home. So, can you explain how we at Codelevate use AI internally, especially around our development process, and how this helps us deliver better results?
Let's do it in order, right? So always, like we have spoken in the past, we are moving towards this specification driven development. So in order to have that, you have to generate the specifications. In the past, maybe if we had to spend a few days, maybe to a week, even the whole sprint of generating the specifications, the user stories, gathering all of the informations, making the notes. Now what we're doing is we have transcripts of meetings. We have a lot of the information of gathering the designs and all of that content. And we feed that towards an agent that we have built ourselves internally to generate the specifications and the user stories, and actually using tools like MCP servers and tools to create the tickets in our project management systems. So work that has taken us, let's say, 2 weeks, now we can do in a couple of days. To a level of detail that it's even greater. So that's the generation, that's one step. Then moving towards the development, well, copilots and agents have boosted development productivity. But a lot of things that are not spoken that often is debugging and bugs, how quickly now you can also, agents help you identify it by just passing logs of errors and information. And what we have done as well is that we have a lot of the tools that we're using, like frameworks, have created these documentations that are now one big text file that we can pass to our Copilot agents, and they have context of the latest documentation of the framework that we're using. So again, it comes to the data that we're feeding. And we have seen maybe 20 to 25% of productivity boosts of developing new features. So that's on the development side.
Okay, and maybe something to ask as well here is, well, sometimes we see if you actually do it really fast, maybe you have more bugs. Is that the case at the moment with AI?
I think it's changing because now we have a lot of agents that are working and self-testing. So what we are doing as well is that the agents are first writing tests that they will use in themselves when they're developing. So if we define correctly the specifications, that means that we can correctly define the test cases. And when we are passing with the copilot or with the agents, they know that when they're developing what they can test and they test their work. Again, definitely it's not 100% and it's not perfect, but without it, you're definitely takes longer to build something. So that's on the development side. And then the last phase is QA.
Yeah.
So what we have built internally is a manual tester will, in the past, will have to test and then create tickets, provide screenshots, recordings, explain, which takes a lot of time. And now we have just the tester records their screen, does the testing, and just explains if there's an issue, literally recording themselves. And all of that video recording we pass to an AI agent who breaks it down based on the different tests and creates automatically the tickets with screenshots or snippets of the recording that it has cut itself and create individual tickets for each bug.
Yeah, so that really helps the developers to understand exactly what is the issue and go fix it instead of having this back and forward with the person.
Just for the QA is way much faster.
Exactly.
And so much details that they can provide.
Yeah. So the overall process from finding the bug to fixing it is probably reduced quite a lot, significantly comparing to before.
Exactly. And again, it goes in that loop that you're creating more data that you can feed the copilots again to fix the bug.
We can also potentially predict in the future other bugs that might happen. And I think what we really see nowadays as well is that you can build your own tool quite fast. So you can build your own MVP tool with Lovable, for example, super fast and go to the market way faster before or comparing to a traditional software process, right? So back in the days, custom software development was and is still super expensive and it took a long period of time. But nowadays you can create a super nice workable product fully generated with AI and go to the market much faster. But what we also see is that scaling this solution to the next level, the 2.0 version, it's a different story. And you see that with a lot of MVP tools that are built, we also had experience with previous companies who come to us and say, hey, we already have the MVP, now we are ready to go to the next stage. Can you talk a bit about how can you move from MVP built by Lovable to really a scalable solution that you can productize, monetize, put it on the market and grow as a sustainable product?
Before I do that, one thing that we have to really clear is that for every different person, the threshold of what is MVP is different, right? Certain people can live with a more, calling it an MVP, but maybe it's not that stable and still have a few users, right? Others are like MVP for them is when they have a stable system that's really there's a lot of users that they can onboard, right? So that's also something how we are seeing with people who are coming to us who are building with Lovable or other tools of what they want to scale it. What does it mean for them to scale it? So we have cases where they have built, and actually I would say most of the cases are they have built something with Lovable that is ready to be demoed and used as a prototype to test their hypothesis and their ideas and really to get the ball rolling of what type of features they want to have. I think one of the biggest advantages of using these tools is that first it makes you, if you're not a technical person or developer, it brings you as close as you can get of thinking as an engineer and thinking what I need to do in order to solve this problem.
Okay.
And as well as understanding to a very deeper level the details of your feature. Not just saying I want to have an onboarding for my users, but really understand what data do I need to collect, what field types I need to have, what are the steps. So I think that's great. However, you can build it, and definitely you can onboard a few people. But what we're seeing is that first of all, you can hit a limit of, first of all, of knowledge in some cases, but second of all, just from the capabilities that you can do. And once you start hitting these limits and how you're saying the scaling, you're then ready, especially if you have proven that, okay, I think I have users and users are willing to pay for this product, to bring it to the next level. And what we are doing is that we're using all of that knowledge that you have first generated yourself of building the product. We're using the product itself to build, I would say, a real MVP or MVP 2.0 of being ready on a stable, secure system, because security as well is one of the big factors that we have seen people coming to us of saying, yes, I have built this, but I have no idea, is it secure? Have I built it in a proper way? Is it going to scale? So that's where the expertise and the experience comes in. However, it is adding value to the whole journey than actually taking, in my opinion. So what we're doing is, like I mentioned, we're taking the knowledge and also what they have built already, and we're using it as a base to develop the next stage, which, as we have shared in the past, using secure systems, using platforms that can scale. In the end, I think the most important thing is the knowledge that the founder or the person who has used building the MVP has generated and have learned, that is providing the most value in the next phase of scaling it.
So, what's the one thing that you want to see of AI moving forward in 2026?
For me, it's memory. So what I mean by that is, right now, I think we have all been there, that you constantly have to provide context of what you wanted to do. In some cases, you're repeating from day to day, you're repeating yourself. So what I would like to see, and I think where we're moving forward, is that during the day, you're chatting with the AI agent, with the copilot, with whatever, and all of that information during the day is generated, it's gathered. And during the night, the LLMs, the AI platforms, are processing that information to learn more about yourself and the type of work that you're working with the agent. And on the next day, it's now better and it's improved based on your specific cases. And during many days, it will become a better expert and more tailored towards you. And it would go to the level and where I wanted to see, it will start actually predict in the morning when I go for on a Tuesday what I'm actually going to do, and it prepares my working environment.
So, to really summarize the conversation, what we really see is that we move from one-time chat-based functionalities, chat-based agents, to really self-taught autonomous AI agents that learn on its own and take the actions already on behalf of you. And I think that's really amazing, and hopefully we see it more and more happening next year as well. And in that way, thank you for sharing, and see you again.